We're looking at the ViBeat pulsometer. I've had this thing for a couple years. I love this thing. I use it all the time to monitor my heart and oxygen levels. This also measures something called perfusion index. And perfusion index is kind of a gray area, but it's basically, it's calculated by dividing the pulsatile signal AC by the non-pulsatile signal DC times 100. And it's expressed as a percentage ranging from 0.02% to 20%. Now, I've measured mine a few times and I've had it at like 2.5, 1.7. I was like, oh my gosh, because you want to be towards 20%. But at other times I've measured it and it's been at like 15, 16%. And I've also tested many other people. So that number I think does vary depending on, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of conditions. But I use this thing all the time. I use it to kind of monitor my heart rate when I'm breathing, or maybe if I'm anxious. I like to do experiments. If you go, take a cold bath, your heart rate's going to drop. Also, I've noticed this around my Wi-Fi router that my pulse or my heart rate will increase. Another time my heart rate increases is when I'm sick. I got a cold right now, so my heart rate has actually been higher for the last couple of days. So ideally, at rest, you want your heart rate to be between 60 and 100. Probably closer to that 60 beats per minute to the 100, but everyone's different. There's tons of things that can influence your heart rate. Sometimes just going to the doctor and having them put a blood pressure cuff on you will raise your heart rate by like 20 to 30 beats per minute. Ideal oxygen saturation should be between 95 and 100%. And that doesn't vary too much with anxiety. That's just kind of that maybe you can throw it off if you do some like Wim Hof breathing techniques, and you can probably really drop your oxygen down then. Now, I could just get an Apple Watch, I suppose, but I just don't want to feed the AI God all the information about my bodily functions on a non-stop. I like this thing. It works very well. I paid about $10. I just looked it up on Amazon now. It's still $10 and it works very good. It does have a memory feature where if you just push this button when it's off, and it's upside down, but you can go through the memory. See, it says memory 1, memory 2, memory 3, memory 4, and then it will have your oxygen saturation at the top and your pulse down there at the bottom. And it goes all the way up to M12. So the last 12 measurements will be stored. So it runs off of AAA batteries. They last pretty good. And you just stick your finger in this thing and it will start to work. Pull your finger out and it turns off. So there's two different modes on this. You can have it continuous, where it will keep going and going for as long as you want it to have it on your finger. Otherwise, there's just a spot check where it will just go for 30 seconds and give you a reading. So taking a reading is simple. You just stick your finger in here. So the bottom is showing my heart rate. The 98 is my oxygen saturation. The 87, the one that keeps going or jumping around, that is my heartbeat. And then you have my PI of 3.7 right there. So this is just going to take a reading. I think it's like a 30-second reading, and then it's going to stop. Yep, just like that. And pull my finger out, and the unit will turn off. Stick my finger in. This is what I like about this one, okay? You can do a long hold on this button right here. Now we get to these settings here. So we have the oxygen saturation levels right there. We can change those. So an alarm will go off if it goes below 91, but I can also put that up to 95. Now below 95 it will go off. I can go all the way up to 99.
or I can go down to 85. I usually have this set to right around 93. Do a long hold on the button. Now I'm at my heart rate. Anything above 170, this thing will start to double beat and my heart rate will flash. And I can also change that. Say if I wanted to have it all the way up to 240 and all the way as low as 100. I usually keep this set at 150. And the same thing on the low end of the heart rate. I can have it at 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and all the way down to 30. So I usually have that around 50. And this is another thing that I like about this meter is that I can change the mode from spot check to continuous. So that means I can leave my finger in here indefinitely or until the batteries die. So I usually leave this on continuous and I'll monitor it for a while, and then I can go down, and this is my favorite part, is the beep. I cannot stand this beeping with my heart rate. I don't know if it makes me anxious or what, but I just don't want to hear it beep, so I can turn that off. And that's basically that.